So your boy finally got a chance to watch the Bulls versus Pelicans in its entirety again, and I had to ask the question: is this just a new season but same Bulls, or did we really learn from the mistakes? Let's talk about it. Listen, if you're new to the channel, it's your boy P Kid from the Windy City Breeze. This is Chicago Bulls Breeze, talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. You know how I do. You know how we move. Let's get in tune with it. The Chicago Bulls, though. The Chicago Bulls, although we took an L on our season opener, I will say this. I will say this. We didn't look bad. In fact, a lot of different things kind of happened. One, we did see the wealth get spread. There is not someone on this team you could say took too many shots. And those who you wanted to take some shots, they did take shots. What I mean by that is Zach LaVine definitely showed that he still can be that guy, right? Dominant first half, kept the Bulls in it. Second half, things shifted a little bit, but still finished at a decent clip. I have my thoughts on why that happened looking at it. That's a different video though. But the one thing I will say ultimately is it wasn't as if he gunned the entire time and everyone else was suffering. No, other people had the opportunity to score as well. They just weren't hitting. Kobe White had a bad game. He was 0 for 5 from 3. If he at least hit 2 or 3 of those, guess what? Not only does his points go up, obviously, right? But that looks like a totally different game for the Chicago Bulls, depending on what stretch we're talking about. Either way, it's a good game by one player, bad game by another. You expected that duo to kind of be Batman and Robin or Batman and Superman, whatever your thoughts are on it. It's just the simple fact that we lost and he had a bad game. The other thing is Vooch didn't look as if he was just the odd man out. He looked honestly, he looked at certain points that the offense should have ran through him. And that's if you're a Stacey King fan, you already know Stacey's been big on that one. He's been saying play through the big man, 90s basketball style since ever, realistically. And I will say that does merit some conversation, and he may have a valid point in some of that. But either way, Vooch didn't shoot bad. He was 8 for 12. Vooch had a dominant game in his own respect, double-double, as he always is. Mr. Consistency for our team kind of flows. Like, if there's a talent title for Mr. Consistency or award for Mr. Consistency on this team, it's Vooch. I don't care what nobody says. Vooch is a double-double king. Like, stop it, right? But there also comes the opportunity for improvement. Because one thing I did not like, even though I just gave you the highlight, is the simple fact that, again, I still wonder if Billy learned from the things that we've been saying or in the past. So I don't believe the Bulls have a talent problem. I do believe that sometimes that talent has to show up. I do believe that talent has to be consistent. Health has been a big issue. However, you remove those things, and even in those moments where you don't have none of those problems, you still see things where it's like, man, why is that going wrong? And one of the things, I would say went wrong here is there's not enough development of the young fella. What I mean by that is Montes comes in pretty highly touted. Like everyone expects Montes to be a dog. And I'm not going to sit here and make it seem as if Montes himself proved himself with the opportunity he had last night. He only had 3 shots. He was out there for like 5 minutes. He missed all 3 of those shots, if I'm mistaken. Did he miss all 3? Yeah, he missed all 3 of those shots, realistically. And so if you want to sit there and just pull the plug or just keep it short least on that one, then I guess. But Montes definitely does have a higher ceiling than Patrick Williams. I'm going to be on the record saying that out the gate. Montes has the opportunity to really, if you get it going early, I think he can be a stud in this league. I really do. I really do believe that. I didn't see enough of him at all. And I saw too much of P. Will, who gave me a little bit of what he's always given me, which was not enough, in my opinion. Maybe I'm too super critical on Patrick Williams. Maybe I'm too super critical on Billy. But I do find it very interesting that none of my young fellas have developed at a high clip. And the ones that have been scratching and clawing for those opportunities. And sometimes it gets taken away from them at moments that I don't understand. And just like sometimes with the whole jostling of a star, sometimes those opportunities got pulled away just because of agenda or something like that. And something opaque that I really don't understand about Billy Donovan. And sometimes it does feel like the same old Bulls because it's the same old bull crap coming from the same person. at times. But that's just my opinion, and maybe I am a little more biased. By the way, if you haven't noticed, I'm not a big Billy Donovan fan. I think that we could have done better on the coaching front. I really do. Not to say that he's a bad guy, and I do believe that he can coach a younger team and help those younger players because of what he did in college. He was, I mean, people speak glowingly of their experience with him in college, but that was college. That was college. This is not college anymore. So my biggest concern rolling into this season, even after game one, is how Billy plays it, because I do not believe that we are going to be in a championship contention moment anytime soon. But that does not mean that you can't develop and get the most out of this young team. In fact, there were some people who were very young years ago. I look at OKC, very young team, very up and down at points, but they got it together. And that young team is a very dominant team now. And some people on that team have grown leaps and bounds and been forces to be reckoned with around the league. And I'm not just talking about SGA, even Josh Giddey himself, who's on our team, going to be asking for $30 million a year, which he'll probably get. Is As a pretty well-rounded player, and he's barely scratched the surface. I take that back. He's a very talented player who needs to work on shooting, but he's talented enough to garner $30 million a year. I don't know one young Bulls player that can say that outside of the flash that we have in Kobe White and maybe Ayo. But I don't know if that's necessarily a Billy thing or not, because we have people like Patrick Williams who haven't grown, injuries be darned, and I still don't know what the heck is happening with Dalen Terry or any of the other young fellas that we had. It's a lot to be desired. And at the end of the day, I'm just tired of wondering if we are going to have that type of development or if we're going to have an identity or any of those things. So I have to say, while I don't believe it's this new season, same old bull, I do believe that we're going to be dealing with the same old bull crap if we don't understand our identity and have a coach commit to an identity, commit to people having a role, commit to actually developing in a way that's in a way that's sufficient for a modern NBA. And some of those things we haven't seen in Billy since he's been here. And yeah, it can happen in a season in basketball. It can happen in less than a season with basketball if you have the right voice and the right people there. This lets me know we don't have the right voice. This also lets me know we don't have the right people. But I digress. Listen, those are my thoughts. I want to hear yours. I know this is the same old, kind of seems like I'm beating a dead horse, but I mean you have to keep call a spade a spade. We have the talent here. The talent needs to be managed, and we need to see it managed better. But again, I want to hear your thoughts because I think we can be good. I think we can win more than half of our games. I think the talent's here, as I've just said. Clearly, we something's going to be missing. But let's see what we do against the Bucks. I'm still excited for the rest of the season. I want to hear what your thoughts are. Let's say put in the chat. I'll be in there with you the next time. Peace.